Hello everyone, I hope you had a good Christmas break and welcome to Straight Talk. I'm Sharon. Just before Christmas, the UK government announced the discovery of a highly transmissible new coronavirus strain. Since then, media, particularly Chinese language media, have started calling the new strain the UK virus or the UK mutant virus, and many countries have cancelled flights from UK. In my opinion, the treatment is unfair and not necessary. A few short months ago, Sophia Chen, a high-ranking Hong Kong official, was adamant that journalists should not be calling the novel coronavirus Wuhan virus. She said that would be slandering. However, just a few days ago, when she was speaking at a press conference about this new virus strain, Sophia Chen was quick to call it the UK virus. China is one of the countries that cancelled UK flights, something that UK never did to China. In its notices to all airlines, China's Civil Aviation Administration said it will start banning all flights from UK from the 20th of December in response, again, to the UK variant coronavirus. The New York Times even went so far as to call UK a plague island. I remember at the beginning of the pandemic, media were all over people who were calling the coronavirus the China virus. They said those people were racists. What about now? Is it okay to call the new strain UK virus? Suddenly, we don't hear from them anymore. The Chinese government has vehemently objected to the term of China virus and got WHO to name the virus COVID-19. You know what's more intriguing? BBC Chinese edition is also using UK virus and a UK variant. Can you imagine a media funded by the UK taxpayers is doing such a disservice? I actually don't see any problem naming a virus after the location where it is first found. I don't think it was a racist act. After all, we also have Spanish flu and German measles. But it's certainly wrong to have double standards and start calling the new strain UK virus while extra efforts were made not to upset China. I know why the Chinese government wanted to do this. They didn't want the bad press to tarnish their image. They wanted to shift attention and also possibly responsibilities away from them to someone else. And that's why we also heard all sorts of discoveries in China about the virus first appearing in America or Europe. At this moment, I do think it makes perfect sense to call COVID-19 the Chinese Communist Party virus or the CCP virus. So when there is, say, Italian mutation or Canadian variant emerging, we don't forget again that it was China who unleashed the original virus onto the world. This is not a UK mutant virus. It is a mutation of a virus from China. And the UK is not a plague island, but a forerunner in identifying and alerting the world any worrying trends. COVID-19 has a strong ability to mutate. This is widely known. The virus has thousands of amino acids, and a mutation can occur at any position or any combination of positions. We have had dozens of mutations already, in fact. Some are significant and some not. The UK has been tracking changes to the genome sequence thanks to the leading technology that few other countries have. UK scientists discovered the new variant when it was only affecting a small portion of the population. When the infection cases caused by this strain jumped to a much more significant portion, around 60% I think in London, the UK government alerted the public. In addition, the UK government also restricted overseas traveling immediately. Although many countries only began to detect the virus strain, the so-called new variant appeared as early as in September, and it is almost certain that it was in other regions already. Shutting down the borders would not help much at all at this point. The moves to cancel UK flights appears to be more like a political move than doing something actually effective. China certainly took the chance to hit back at UK's stance on Hong Kong. What's interesting is other countries reacted much more strongly and negatively to UK's alert compared to how they responded to China. The WHO even urged the countries not to close borders to China I don't know if you remember. And the New York Times simply called China's mishandling of the outbreak missteps. The world just seems to be much softer on the communist China for some reason. I think I know what the issue is. Those countries and the mainstream media are much more afraid of angering a rich dictator than a responsible but smaller democracy. I'm concerned about the damage the new variant may do, and I'm not happy at all about the lockdown. But I applaud the UK government for being forthright with the public on this new variant. It is a responsible thing to do. On top of that, they didn't whine or cry or make threats like Beijing did. Beijing delayed the reporting of human-to-human transmission of the virus by at least 3 weeks. A study by the University of Southampton says that the global outbreak could have been substantially curtailed if China took actions earlier. 66% fewer people, so that's about 2/3 fewer people, would have been infected globally had the Chinese government taken broad actions and alerted the world a week earlier. Now, had they done it 3 weeks earlier, we would have seen 95% less case. So that's a huge difference. Instead of reporting the cases and taking the right measures, what did the Chinese government do? They had the whistleblowers arrested and interrogated. The whistleblower doctors had to write repentance statements to denounce what they had reviewed. Dr. Li Wenliang was one of them who was silenced. He later died of the coronavirus infection. To buy more time to prepare for the response to the public of his death, the communist regime ordered the medical team to continue to resuscitate Dr. Li hours after he died, breaking a number of his ribs unnecessarily. It was hugely disrespectful. But how many countries are holding China responsible for their acts? It is one thing to try to work together on vaccines, yet it is another not to hold people or nations accountable for their mistakes or crimes. The world has to teach China a lesson and let the communist leaders know what is acceptable behavior and what is not. This is it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, please do subscribe and turn on your notification for future episodes. Again, thank you and see you next time.